Welcome everybody, this is Warhammer Sean. I'm going to do a Codex review, but I'm going to kind of do a shortened Codex review. I'm going to do a Codex review of the Daemonkin, Khorne Daemonkin. In this video I'm going to go through some things that have changed in this Codex, but some of the stuff I'm not going to go through, and that's some of the individual units I'm not going to go through just because it's the same as it was in the Chaos Space Marine Codex, so it's not really probably worth it. But I'm going to go through some things that did change and things that are important, at least I think that are important. Let's go through, first off, the main rules that kind of apply to all of the units that are in this Codex. So all of the units in the Codex have blood for the blood god, and a unit of Khorne Daemonkin army generates blood tithe points during the course of each battle. The controlling player must keep record of how many points his army accrues. A blood tithe point is generated each time one of the following events occurs during the game. This may mean that you may earn multiple blood tithe points simultaneously. So one, you get a point if a unit containing at least one model with a blood for the blood god special rule is completely destroyed, or it destroys an enemy unit. So, you know, as the fluff goes, Khorne doesn't care from which the blood flows, only that it flows. So basically, if your units die or you kill a unit, you get a blood tithe point. A character with a blood for the blood god rule special rule is slain or slays an enemy character in a challenge, so either one of those you get a point for. The maximum number of blood tithe points an army can have at any time is 8. Any additional points generated are lost. The controlling player can choose to expend blood tithe points at the start of any of his turns. To do so, pick one reward on the blood tithe table opposite that has value equal to or less than the number of blood tithe points. When one or more blood tithe points are expended, any remaining blood tithe points are lost, though more points can be generated later in the game. So the way I'm reading this is I don't think you can go, okay, I've got 8 points, so I'm going to spend 7 on Dark Hypothesis, and I'm going to use 1 for Infernal Contempt. It sounds like as soon as you use it, the rest of them are gone. So it's got its pros and its cons, but you're really only going to be doing one thing on each of your turns. So let's go through the blood tithe table. I think the main reason they did this is to give Khorne the ability to generate units, because you know, they are not psychic, and so they can't generate any of them, or basically call any of them in from the warp. So the blood tithe table, if you expend 1 point, it's Infernal Contempt, and all friendly units with a blood for the blood god special rule have Adamantium Will until the start of the next turn. That's okay. 2 is Insatiable Bloodlust. All friendly units with blood for the blood god special rule have Furious Charge and Rage special rules until the start of your next turn, which is cool. We're going to come to it, but demons and the mark of Khorne have different special rules, so it's kind of a way to give both of them some bonus that they may not have. Number 3 is Unstoppable Ferocity. All friendly units with blood for the blood god special rule have the Feel No Pain special rule until the start of your next turn. I think that's really good. Feel No Pain is always good. And all of your units having it is pretty nice. Apocalyptic Fury. All friendly units blood for the blood god rule add 1 to their attack characteristic until the start of the next turn. That's worth 4. I actually think that the Feel No Pain one's worth more than the extra attack. Number 5 is Demon Tide. A unit consisting of either 8 Bloodletters or 5 Fleshhounds, controlling player's choice, is summoned within 12 inches of any friendly unit with the blood for the blood guy special rule. And it says below that when they're summoned, they have to deep strike using the deep strike rules. So they're not going to be charging on the turn that they're generated, which makes sense. 6 is Harbingers of Blood and Brass. A unit consisting of 3 Blood Crushers or a Skull Cannon controlling player's choice, is summoned within 12 inches of a friendly unit for the Blood God special rule, which is pretty cool too. It's kind of nice because Skull Cannons are one of the few kind of range things that Khorne has, and it's kind of nice to get something for free. I like the Blood Crushers too. And it's also a free way of getting them because I think they're kind of expensive in this Codex for what, and the Chaos Space Marine or Chaos Demon Codex for what they do, especially being only toughness 4. Yes, they've got 3 wounds, but anything strength 8 or more doubles them out. In the last edition of the Chaos Demons Codex, all demons had Eternal Warrior, so it didn't matter if you were toughness 4, but now they don't, so it's a big deal. 7 is Dark Hypothesis. Choose one friendly character with Blood from the Blood of God special rule who does not have the Demon of Khorne special rule on the board. The character must immediately take a leadership test. If it's failed, he becomes a spawn. And it's generated within 6 inches of a character, or if it's passed, it becomes a Demon Prince equipped with Warforged armor and wings if the model represents it. In either case, the character that's chosen is removed as a casualty. If it's your Warlord, you don't give the opponent slay the Warlord until this new thing is destroyed. And it does retain any Warlord trait and artifacts of slaughter that your Warlord had. If you're a Demon Prince, if you're a spawn, you're pretty much becoming a blithering idiot. Better luck next time. However, that being said, I actually had some ideas. Remember that your cultists come with a cultist champion, and your cultist champion, you don't really care about him. So I don't know if I'd do it with my Warlord with this. If I had a Lord or something, I might not want to risk it. Maybe I would. But what's cool is I don't really care if my cultist sergeant becomes a spawn. Who cares? He's leadership 8. He's still got a pretty good chance of becoming a Demon Prince. And then you've taken a character that's like 6-8 points and become a Demon Prince, which is a lot more. So that's what actually I was thinking, is using it with my cultists because they're cheap and the cultist champion's worth sacrificing, in my opinion. So just my thought. Number 8 is Fury Unbound. Choose one friendly character with Blood for the Blood God special rule who does not have Demon of Khorne special rule on the board. The character must immediately take a leadership test. If it's failed, the model is immediately removed as casualty. If the test is passed, Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury is summoned, see below, within 6 inches of the character, and then chosen character is removed as a casualty. If it's your Warlord, and it's passed, the leadership test is passed, you don't grant Slay the Warlord to your opponent until this one is removed. Bloodthirster will retain any Warlord trait your Warlord had. So, I think all of those are good. I think they're all good, honestly. Some of the early ones, like Adamantium Will, I don't know how great that is. Furious Charge and Rage is nice. I think if you have the points, it's worth potentially spending unless you're trying to save up for things. Let's talk about some of the other special rules. So the Demon of Khorne, has Furious Charge and Hatred, Demons of Slaanesh special rules. Chariots with this rule resolve Hammer of Wrath is Strength 7. Now, here's the key, guys, and here's the thing I haven't heard people talking about too much, but let's think about this for a second. In these rules and in all the entries, there is no mention of demonic instability, and so I'm thinking they're also under the one thing that did change. Sorry, I apologize. The one thing that did change in all the entries is that they have Fearless now instead of demonic instability. And so what's awesome about this is if you lose combat, you're just sticking in it. You're not losing guys like the Demon Codex, which is nice. Plus, here's the other thing. You don't have demonic instability, which means your battle brothers, like your Chaos Space Marines, can join your squad now, which you couldn't before. So there's all kinds of shenanigans that you can kind of do with this Codex that you can't do with Chaos Demons and Chaos Space Marines, even though they're battle brothers. So it's pretty exciting, actually, in that respect. I'm pretty excited about it. The Mark of Khorne has the rule where they get rage and counterattack special. Now, counterattack is really nice. You know, and you automatically pass it in 7th edition. You don't take a leadership test like you did in 6th. So you're automatically getting counterattack, which means if you have rage, which the Mark of Khorne gives you, you're not only getting that bonus attack, you're getting 2 bonus attacks, which is pretty nice, unless your opponent has defensive grenades, which maybe they do, but not too many really have it. I think Tau and some of the Nurgle stuff does, but not a lot of other stuff has defensive grenades. So, and then the other rule, special rule, is Skulls for the Skull Throne. Basically, it says that any challenge you get, you can't refuse it. You have to accept or issue challenge. Just like the Chaos Space Marine Codex. It's different from Chaos Demons, but Chaos Space Marines you had to. So nothing changed there. Levels of Alliance. Your Battle Brothers with Chaos Demons and Chaos Space Marines. Go figure. Allies of Convenience is Necrons and Orcs, which is nice. Desperate Allies is Dark Eldar and Tau, and Come the Apocalypse is Armies of the Imperium, Eldar, Harlequins, and Tyranids. I'm still disappointed. I mean, I know Imperial Armor has it, but very few people allow Imperial Armor armies in tournaments. But I would like there was in last edition, I would like to see the Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum have at least Allies of Convenience with these guys, just because there are Traitor Guard out there. But that's the way it is. Warlord Traits. Number 1 is Icon of War, and that one is your Warlord and all friendly units with Blood for the Blood Guy special rule within 12 inches. Reroll failed charge rolls. That actually is helpful, especially since you're Khorne, you want to get in close combat. Discipline of Khorne, your Warlord has a Zealot special rule. You can't go wrong with Zealot. Hatred, reroll to hit the first round of combat, and you're fearless. Awesome. Arch Slaughterer, add 1 to your Warlord's attack characteristics. That's okay. I mean, it's good. It's not great. Favored of Khorne, your Warlord generates 1 additional Blood Tithe point each time he slays an enemy character in a challenge. Once again, it's okay. It will help you. You may not really benefit from it too much in the game. Butcher King, your Warlord has a preferred enemy special rule. That's really good. I mean, preferred enemy is good. Destined for Glory, when resolving Dark Hypothesis or Fury Unbound results in the Blood Tithe table, your Warlord will automatically pass the leadership test if he is chosen as the character. So it's a way to sacrifice your Warlord in autumn, and you're guaranteed to get either Demon Prince or basically Bloodthirster. I mean, most of the time I don't think you're going to be sacrificing your Warlord unless, let's say, there's circumstances like, let's say he's down to 1 wound and bam, you want to get him, you know, to be this guy. The other option is you could build your army and just have a really cheap HQ who is pretty worthless and hope to generate enough points in the game that you can turn into one of these good guys. That's always an option too. But that's the Warlord traits. You know, most of the time the Warlord traits aren't that spectacular. I think in this case they're pretty good. I mean, they're not super great, but if you're going to roll on the table, I don't think there's anything that's really crappy. I mean, there's some things on Tyranids that were like, you know, turn a jungle into carnivorous jungle, whoop-de-doo. Let's go through quick. Basically, the Force organization is you can take your primary CAD as normal, or you can take an organization similar to the Necrons, where you can take a Slaughter Cult, where you have to take either a Chaos Lord, a Herald, a Demon Prince, or a Bloodthirster, and then 2 to 8 units of Chaos Space Marine, Berserkers, Bloodletters in any combination, and 1 to 4 units of Possessed, 0 to 2 units of Chaos Spawn, 0 to 2 units of Chaos Cultists. So basically forcing you to take a squad of Possessed. That's your tithe for doing this. Now, with the Necron Codex, you had to take the Jet Bikes. That was kind of the new tithe because nobody really took them, which was okay because they're actually pretty good and they can take objectives and they can ignore cover and they're good at jinking. Possessed are just really expensive, and it sucks that that's a tithe to take this formation because honestly that almost might stop me from doing it, because man, I just possessed. I wish they need to be cheaper. They're just not good enough for how much they cost in points. The other formations, you can take a Lord of Slaughter. So basically, you can take one Bloodthirster, or Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, or Lord of Skulls as your basically your auxiliary, or sorry, yeah, your command squad. And then your auxiliary, you can take 1 to 8 choices. One is Brazen Onslaught, which is 1 to 4 units of Chaos Terminators, 2 to 4 units of Blood Crushers. Khorne's Bloodstorm, which is 2 to 4 units of Raptors, 1 to 4 units of Warped Talons, and 0 to 1 Helldrake. Like, I don't know why they're limiting the Helldrake and then everything else. I don't think that one's going to be taken too much. The Gore Pack, 2 to 4 units of Bikers, 1 to 4 units of Fleshhounds. That one actually could be useful because both of those things are actually really strong for both lists. The Charnel Cohort is 1 Herald or Demon Prince, 2 to 8 units of Bloodletters, 1 to 4 units of Fleshhounds, 1 to 4 units of Blood Crushers, and 0 to 4 Skull Cannons. And then War Engine is 1 Hellbrute, a Defiler, a Soul Grinder, a Forge Fiend, a Mauler Fiend, or a Lord of Skulls. So those are kind of on their own. So what does this benefit give you? At the beginning of each of your turns, before deciding whether or not to expend any Blood Tithe points, you automatically generate a Blood Tithe point. So basically, you're getting a Blood Tithe point for free every turn if you use this detachment, which is good, because that's what the big shtick with this Codex is all about. You can also re-roll your results when rolling on the Khorne Daemonkin Warlord Traits. So that's okay. Just like Necrons, you don't get to re-roll on anything else. That's a little bit of a sucky thing. So, looking at things, most of the things in here don't have demonic instability. Your HQs are your Chaos Lord. Points didn't really change. As a matter of fact, some of them got more expensive, and I think you were just kind of paying for that Mark of Khorne or Demon of Khorne type of upgrade. Demon Prince is another HQ, and points are pretty much the same. The only downfall to this book compared to the Chaos Demons is that you can buy some of the upgrades, but some of the demonic gifts aren't the same. You're not rolling on a table, you're just paying for them. And so some of those options aren't there to make your Demon Prince better or your Bloodthirster better like you could in Chaos Demon. So there are some pros and cons to this. Demonic instability is a good thing. There's a Herald that basically you can take, and I believe, let me just check, I think he can still take a Juggernaut. Yep, he can still take a Juggernaut of Khorne. So you can still put him on a Juggernaut. Blood Throne, which is a Chariot, you can take as an HQ choice. The cool thing with that is their crew make 2 additional Strength 4 AP 3 attacks, resolves at Weapon Skill 5 at Initiative 4 step. So he goes at Initiative 6, but then his crew also go at Initiative 4, so you're making some extra attacks, which is still AP 3, which is good. Skull Taker is in this. He's 100 points. The drawback to him, and I suppose it's also one of those things, is because he doesn't have the model with the Juggernaut, is that you can't give him a Juggernaut anymore. So he's only got 2 wounds. Now in the Chaos Demons book, you can give him a Juggernaut, which will give him an extra wound, so he'd have 3 wounds. And he's an Eternal Warrior, which is one of the few things that demons that have it. But yeah, the drawback, he comes with a Warlord trait automatically too. The drawback is that he can't take that anymore, so he can't take a Juggernaut. So he's on foot, which makes him a little worse because he's not as fast as he was. Now, recent White Dwarfs released, they came out with a new model, so they have new Bloodthirsters. They have 3 new Bloodthirsters. One of them is 250 points, and he is basically weapon skill, ballistic skill 10, strength and toughness 6, wounds 5, initiative 9, attack 6, leadership 9, save 3+, and he's a demon, so he's got the 5-up save. He's got Deep Strike, Fearless, Skull for the Skull Throne, Blood for the Blood God, Demon of Khorne, Warforged Armor, Lash of Khorne, and Axe of Khorne. So the Lash of Khorne has a shooting attack, which is 12-inch range, Strength 6, AP 2, Assault 1. So it's a one-shotter. And then the Axe of Khorne is AP 2, Melee, Decapitating Blow. Now the sucky thing is with the in Chaos book, Chaos Demons book, you could take 2 lesser gifts, and so you could just automatically take 2 axes of Khorne. So, and that's a specialist weapon, but it was 2 of them, so you could get an extra attack with your Herald and have something that went at AP or normal melee, and it was AP 2. And now you can't do that because it's an upgrade, it's not a gift, and so you can only take 1 of them, which kind of sucks because that limits your attacks. So your Herald has 3 attacks, he's only going to have 3 attacks versus he could have had 4. Although with the Juggernaut, he's going to give some extra abilities too. The Bloodthirster of Insensate, I'm sorry guys, Insensate Rage is 275 points. He's got the same stats, but he comes with a Great Axe of Khorne, which is a D weapon, AP2, Melee Colossal. But the sucky thing about this is it doesn't go at initiative. Even though he's initiative 9, he goes at initiative 1 because of the axe. He's a cool looking dude, but I don't think he's going to be taking too much because you're going to initiative 1. Everybody's hitting you first, or Power Fist is hitting you at the same time. And then you're relying on your 5-up save to save you. You know, the big thing about these guys is having their, basically, you know, having their initiative. So I don't see this guy being taken, really. The last Bloodthirster is a Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster. This one I like. He's, of course, the most expensive. He's 300 points, which is really pricey. Same stats. He's got Hellfire and Blood Flail. Hellfire is a template, Strength 5, AP 4, Soul Blaze, so basically like a heavy flamer. And then he's also got a Blood Flail and an Axe of Khorne. The Blood Flail is... Where are you? Blood Flail is... Blood Flail is 12-inch range, Strength 7, AP 2, Assault D3. So you can, if you're close enough, use your template and your Blood Flail because your monstrous creature can shoot 2 weapons. But in close combat, it's AP 2, melee specialist weapon. So you can use it with your Axe of Khorne, you're going to get an extra attack. So he's going to have 7 attacks instead of 6, and basically 8 on the charge. And he's got hatred characters. So basically, he's re-rolling to hit on characters, and he's weapon skill 10. So he's hitting on 3s most of the time. So I think he's good. He's just kind of pricey. I don't know how often you'll see him. The cultists are a little bit more expensive, but they have the Mark of Khorne. They're 58 points base, which is 8 of them. The reason everything is in 8s is because the magic number for Khorne is 8. But basically, they have all the same rules as the cultists before, except they have the Blood for the Blood God, Mark of Khorne, and Skulls for the Skull Throne. Cultist only. So, you know, that like I said, keep in mind when the Dark Hypothesis, you might want to sacrifice him. Because he's leadership 8. Chaos Space Marines are 130 points for 8 of them, because you have to get 8 of them. And they're, you know, they've got the Mark of Khorne. And then you've got your Berserkers, which are troops choices, which is different than, well, the Chaos Space Marine ones was 6th edition, so it made them troops, but, you know, they're kind of doing away with those things. But they are actually troops in this Codex, which is cool. They're still expensive, though. The blood letters are 80 points, and you get 8 of them. So they're the same points as they were. And possessed, 150 points with the Mark of Khorne. They're so expensive. They get the same D3 mutations that you roll at each fight sub phase. It's not even as good as the Blood Slaughterers one, actually. Chaos Terminators are elites. Blood Crushers are elites. Spawn are fast attack. Chaos Rhino is fast attack, so they're moving it to take it as a fast attack choice. Bikers are fast attack. Fleshhounds are fast attack, which they have been. Raptors are fast attack. Warp Talons are fast attack. Your Helldrake is fast attack. Your Chaos Land Raider is a heavy choice. And the Forge Fiend is a heavy choice. Now the Mauler Fiend is a heavy choice too. But then the Defiler and the Soul Grinder are heavy choices. So it kind of makes the heavies kind of hard to decide. But the Hellbrute used to be elite, and now in this codex it's heavy. I'm not exactly sure why, and it has the same rules as before. It can't take any marks, so it's 100 points base. And then the Skull Cannon is 125 points. And then the Lord of Skulls is a Lord of War. So basically that's the little formations we've kind of already gone through. But that's basically kind of the rules for the new Daemonkin Codex. Like I said, I kind of, sorry if this went a little long, but I just didn't really want to do a whole series on it because they're really the rules for each of the individual characters, except for the special rules we already went through. They're all the same as what they are in their respective old codexes or codices like Chaos Space Marines or Demons, Chaos Demons. So you can find them and the rules are the same. They haven't changed at all. And points really haven't changed at all either. It's really you're paying for the marks and you don't have a choice on it. So if you're going to run cultists with Daemonkin, you're going to make them, they're going to be Khorne cultists. My final thoughts, I hope GW actually does a codex for all of the Chaos Gods, because I kind of like having them separate, because I feel like for the most part a lot of times they are going to be separate. And honestly, with the way things go now, you could run, if you want to run a couple combinations of demons, then run Khorne detachment and run like a Tzinch detachment or a Nurgle detachment, because most of the time the way I think about it with the fluff is they're mainly working for their gods of chaos, and not really as a big team. Chaos Undivided, the only ones that are really doing that is kind of Abaddon, and even that, it's not like it's all the time that they're all fighting together all the time. It's just when he does a Great Crusade. Closing thoughts. I don't think this is going to be like a, oh my god, this is a new codex and it just, it's amazing and it's top tier. It's not. This isn't the Necron codex. I was surprised with Necron. I thought they were going to get nerfed a little bit because I thought their 5th edition one was pretty good. And the new codex is, I think, in a way, even better. Honestly, I know some people complain about some things, but I think overall they really have nothing to complain about. It's a good, solid codex. It's certainly playable, but I have a feeling until all the Chaos ones get redone and they kind of like say, okay, the Chaos Demons Codex is defunct, I think people are still going to probably play that one more, because I think it has more options to build a more competitive list. And I mean, Adepticon, the individual tournaments, Demons and Chaos Space Marines were the top 2 armies in the individual tournament, so they're still very potent armies. I don't think you'll see these as top tier just because Khorne isn't really top tier right now, but I think it's something that you will see. I think it's good. I like it. I like the codex. If some people will say, oh, it's just a cash grab for GW, they're not really doing much to change except for adding a few rules. But I think, honestly, I hope this is the start of something where they do all of the the Chaos Gods, and the Chaos Demon and Chaos Space Marine Codex is kind of out the door, because Chaos Space Marine 1 really needs to be replaced. The Demon 1 is still good, but I wouldn't mind seeing it change that way and be redone. I think that would be good. Anyway, that's my final thoughts. Please feel free to disagree with me or leave comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was helpful, hopefully. And remember that I am still running my, hoping to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm close to 300. I will do a giveaway at 300. Check out the 300 subscriber giveaway and enter there to enter to the 300 contest. And keep on wargaming. I'll talk to you later.
Goodbye. 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 Bye-bye. Goodbye. See ya. Bye for now. Bye for now. Goodbye. I like bottoms.